And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're talking about boxing's next so called mega fight, the one we didn't really ask for, but somehow got convinced we needed. Because when you're given a buffet of mid, the best dish in the lineup still looks gourmet. Now let's get one thing straight. This isn't going to be a film study. There are better channels around for that. This is just my take, my not so humble opinion on what's going down and why. Now, if you've been listening to me for a while, you already know I was picking Crawford months ago, long before the crowd caught on, back when most people were calling it absurd. But now, after Canelo looked like hot garbage against Skull, suddenly the narrative is changing. People are waking up. Now it's suddenly a 50-50 fight. Go figure. Better late than never, right? The Madrimov factor. Many will reference Crawford's struggle with Madrimov in his only fight at 154 and extrapolate he will then struggle even more at 168. I personally think this is faulty reasoning because Madrimov fights nothing like Canelo. He's a very cagey counterpuncher who threw more feints than punches against Crawford. I personally don't read too much into this performance at all. The surface level ridiculous factor. Let's be honest. A 38-year-old welterweight moving up three weight divisions, taking on the so called undisputed king at 168? It sounds crazy. And yes, on the surface, it is. Crawford's only had one fight at 154, and now he's jumping up to 168. It feels ridiculous. But that's only if you're looking skin deep. Once you scratch the surface, the weight argument starts to fall apart. The picture starts to change. The weight is a factor, but it's surface level. But weight classes matter. Yes, they do, but it's still surface level. Weight classes matter, but they're not everything. Boxing is a game of timing, skills, matchups, adaptability, and IQ. You want an example? Usyk versus Fury and Joshua, outweighed by 30 plus pounds, and he still defeated them. Skills do pay the bills. How about a more relevant example? Floyd Mayweather versus Canelo. Floyd gave up 15 pounds on fight night, and it didn't matter at all. Canelo still got schooled. Now, this weight gap is a little bigger. That's fair enough. But I'll tell you right now, Canelo won't outweigh Crawford by more than 15 pounds on fight night. And if size didn't save him from Floyd, it won't save him now either. Canelo then versus Canelo now. Now, some of you are going to say, Canelo was young back then. He's way more experienced now. Yeah, sure. But here's the thing, and hear me clearly. Canelo was a way better fighter back then than he is today. Don't believe me? Go rewatch the Floyd fight, then go watch the Skull fight. Back then, Canelo was dynamic, threw combinations, mixed it up, hand speed, and had a full toolkit. Now, he's a slow, plodding pressure fighter, high guard up, loading up on single telegraphed overhand rights, sometimes mixing in a left hook. That's about it. No jab, nothing. Wash, rinse, repeat. The illusion of recent opposition. Truth is, Canelo might be done. Not retired done, but done at the elite level. But he's been flattered by mediocre opposition lately. And even then, he's looked average. The decline is real, but it's been masked. And make no mistake, Canelo is a very old 35-year-old. He's a 35-year-old with a lot of miles under his belt, far more than Crawford, who may be older at 38, but in terms of miles, he is much younger and fresher. Attribute breakdown. Who has what? Let's break it down. Crawford, a 4-inch reach advantage, faster hands, better footwork, more layers to his game, and a higher boxing IQ. Overall, he's fundamentally more skilled than Canelo. And what's Canelo got? Size, power, and durability. That's it. And there is a caveat to the size advantage. Crawford has always been an epic career weight bully which means he's actually plenty big. He might not be as naturally thick as Canelo, but Canelo's size advantage, in my opinion, is minimal. Unless weight is some kind of magic eraser, I don't see how that outguns what Crawford brings to the table. Crawford's durability. Can he take Canelo's power? One of the key questions in this matchup, and rightly so. Despite being past his prime, Canelo can still punch. Even though he hasn't stopped any of his last 7 opponents, his power is still real. More than enough to hurt or even stop Crawford with a single clean shot. Make no mistake. But that raises the question, if he still has serious power, why hasn't he stopped anyone recently? Well, unless you have true one punch knockout power, finishing opponents usually requires landing combinations, and that's where Canelo has regressed in recent years. While he still has explosive strength, his offense has become more predictable, making it harder for him to land the kind of clean, sustained shots needed to stop bigger opponents. His finishing ability has declined, but don't be mistaken. If he catches Bud clean, he can still end the fight. The key word is clean. Can he land flush on Crawford in the right spot? Now, Bud is a very skilled and reasonably slick fighter, though not a defensive wizard like Mayweather. So he's not completely unhittable. He can get caught. We've even seen Bud wobbled before, but that was mostly at lower weights when he was draining himself. At 147 and above, he's shown a solid chin. In my opinion, the likelihood of Crawford being badly hurt or knocked out by Canelo is on the lower end of the risk scale. Styles make fights. Stylistically, this fight clearly favours Crawford. Clearly. He's a counterpuncher, but he can also press when he wants. He's versatile, unpredictable, layered. Canelo? People say he's a counterpuncher, but let's be honest. When was the last time he actually fought like a counterpuncher? Oh, wait. At 168 and up, he hasn't been a counterpuncher at all. He's been a forward plodding pressure fighter, high guard up, same shots over and over. No creativity, no rhythm change, no setups. So, what does that give us? A predictable pressure fighter walking into one of the slickest counterpunchers in the sport. Yeah, I like Crawford's chances. The intimidation factor. Why self belief changes everything. We all know one of the advantages Canelo has had for most of his career is his ability to intimidate his opponents to the point they're mentally defeated before they even step in the ring or very soon after. You can't beat a high level fighter if you don't believe you can or if you don't even try. How many of Canelo's recent opponents genuinely tried to beat him? I mean, really tried, put everything on the line. Since Triple G2, I went back and looked, and I could only find 3 names: Bivol, Ryder, and Munguia. 3 out of 14 fights. Now, Bivol wasn't intimidated, went straight at Canelo and dominated. Ryder and Munguia did their best, but their best simply wasn't good enough. Still, they gave Canelo a tough fight because they tried. Now, Crawford, he's elite and he believes he can win. That belief will show in the ring because when elite fighters step to Canelo with confidence, they either beat him, like Floyd and Bivol, or push him to the edge, like Triple G. That self belief is a significant weapon, and it's absolutely been vital to beating Canelo. It's been frustrating to watch so many of Canelo's opponents fold mentally, even when they had the tools like Skull to beat him. When he actually tried to fight, he had real success, fast, sharp counters that landed clean. But most of the fight, he didn't fight. He survived. Imagine if he had really gone after Canelo like he wanted to win. He could have won that fight. Could he have been knocked out? Maybe, but he would have given Canelo a real fight and maybe more. Crawford won't make that mistake. He'll use all his advantages and believe in them. He won't fight reckless, but he won't fight scared either. He'll box, he'll move, and he'll land where it hurts. Does he have the power to keep Canelo honest? Did Floyd have the power to hurt Canelo? No, but he had enough sting to make Canelo respect him. And that's exactly what Crawford will do. He doesn't need one punch KO power. He needs clean, crisp timing. And he's got that. Enough to make Canelo think twice before walking in like he did with Charlo. Canelo will be reduced to looking for a haymaker, while Crawford frustrates him with movement, timing, and pinpoint shots. And once we get to the later rounds, don't be surprised if Crawford starts putting it on a gassed out Canelo, really putting it on him. So, have you noticed something, ladies and gentlemen? The advantages Crawford has over Canelo are significant. He has significantly more advantages than Canelo does over him. Essentially, all Canelo has going for him is power and durability. How far can that really take him against an elite fighter like Terence Crawford? And not only that, a very hungry elite fighter with a chip on his shoulder and something to prove. Final word, Crawford beating Canelo. Not just possible, probable. So yeah, at first glance, it sounds ridiculous. But once you look deeper, it's not just realistic, it makes complete sense. So, to sum it all up, my prediction, Crawford boxes Canelo's ginger ears off, and all the Canelo fans end up on suicide watch. Pure heaven. Until next time.